Good afternoon, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for Saturday, October 18, 2025. And in the news this afternoon, jailbreak ends with a 6-month sentence. 43-year-old Marisa Belnavis, who made headlines last December for a jailbreak from the Barnett Street police lockup, was on Wednesday sentenced to 6 months imprisonment when he appeared in the St. James Parish Court. The sentence was handed down by Judge Natisha Fairclough Hilton, who questioned Belnavis about his drug use before delivering her decision. "Are you going to stop taking drugs?" the judge asked. "I will try to make a change. I thank you for your understanding, and I ask you to give me a suspended sentence," Belnavis replied. Fairclough Hilton, however, ordered that he serve 6 months in prison. Belnavis was apprehended in Oteria, St. Anne around 10 a.m. on May 29 after being spotted by police. A warrant was executed and he was returned to St. James on May 31 to face formal charges. He was among 5 men who staged the December 14, 2024 breakout from the Barnett Street lockup. Since then, 3 of the fugitives have reportedly been fatally shot in armed confrontations with the police across St. James and Trelawney, while another was recaptured in Spotter Valley the day after the escape. Curfew imposed in sections of Arthur Leon Drive, Golden Springs, St. Andrew. A 48-hour curfew has been imposed in sections of Arthur Leon Drive, Golden Springs, St. Andrew. The curfew began at 6 p.m. on Friday, October 17, and will remain in effect until 6 p.m. on Sunday, October 19. The boundaries of the curfew are north from Golden Spring Road, running along an imaginary line to the cul-de-sac of Arthur Leon Drive, Golden Spring. East from the cul-de-sac of Arthur Leon Drive, Golden Spring, continue along an imaginary line to the intersection of Boone Hall Road and the Mount Airy Road. South from the intersection of Boone Hall Road and Mount Airy Road to the intersection of Stock Farm Road and Golden Spring Road. West from the intersection of Stock Farm Road and Golden Spring Road continue along Golden Spring Road. During the hours of the curfew, people within the boundaries of the curfew are required to remain indoors unless otherwise authorized by the ground commander. Curfew imposed in sections of Iron River District, Stony Hill, St. Andrew. A 48-hour curfew has been imposed in sections of the Iron River District, Stony Hill, St. Andrew. The curfew began at 6 p.m. on Friday, October 17, and will remain in effect until 6 p.m. on Sunday, October 19. The boundaries of the curfew are north from the intersection of Mount Airy Road and the entrance of Iron River to the Iron River Square, running along an imaginary line. East from the Iron River Square to the Old Anglican Church of Refuge. South from the Old Anglican Church of Refuge to the intersection of Mount Pleasant Road and the Mount Airy Road. West from the intersection of Mount Pleasant Road and the Mount Airy Road to the intersection of Mount Airy Road and the entrance of Iron River. During the hours of the curfew, people within the boundaries of the curfew are required to remain indoors unless otherwise authorized by the ground commander. Man jailed after stabbing brother with scissors unprovoked. A St. Catherine man's temper landed him behind the bars after he used a pair of scissors to stab his own brother in a shocking unprovoked attack that left the victim hospitalized for weeks. The attacker, 51-year-old Brian Allen, a laborer of Ty Dixon District, was on Friday sentenced to 12 months and 20 days at hard labor after pleading guilty to unlawful wounding. Senior Parish Court Judge Janelle Nelson Gale told Allen that his actions were unjustified and violent, declaring that only a prison sentence would fit the crime. She, however, granted a 50% reduction for his guilty plea and credited the 4 months he had already spent in custody. The judge also ordered that Allen undergo anger management counseling. According to court documents, on June 7, 2025, the complainant was at home when Allen launched the attack, stabbing him repeatedly in the neck and the chest. The injured brother spent 6 weeks in hospital recovering from the wounds. Allen was later arrested and charged by the Shady Grove police. Judge rejects a bid to dismiss case against Ruel Reid and the co-accused, defense to seek a judicial review. There was a new legal twist on Friday in the multi-million-dollar fraud trial of former Education Minister Ruel Reid and his 4 co-accused. Defense attorney Hugh Wildman declared that he will be seeking judicial review in the Supreme Court after Senior Parish Court Judge Sanche Burrell rejected his bid to have the case thrown out. On Thursday, Mr. Wildman argued that the indictment order, the legal document forming the basis of the trial, only names Mr. Reid and the co-accused Professor Fritz Pinnock and makes no direct mention of the other 3 accused, Reid's wife Sharon, their daughter Sherelle, and the counselor Kim Brown Lawrence. Mr. Wildman told the court this cannot be cured and said the trial is proceeding on an order that is non-existent. But Judge Burrell disagreed, ruling that all 5 accused fall within the ambit of the indictment and the trial will proceed. In response, Mr. Wildman said he will also apply for a stay of the trial, effectively halting proceedings until the higher court reviews the matter. The accused are facing charges including conspiracy to defraud, corruption, and handling criminal property. The trial resumes on Tuesday, with the Crown expected to call a second witness. Mr. Reid and the other defendants are accused of defrauding the Ministry of Education of more than $25 million. Senior citizen charged with arson. A 72-year-old St. James retiree has been charged with arson for allegedly setting fire to a house in his community of Hillview in Pitford. Junior Malcolm was charged on Wednesday following an investigation by the St. James Police. His court date is being finalized. According to reports from the Granville Police, about 12 p.m. on Monday, residents saw Malcolm setting fire to a house and called the police. Emergency responders, including the Jamaica Fire Brigade, were alerted and the blaze was extinguished. The second floor of the house was damaged. The cost of the damage is estimated to be approximately $10 million. Malcolm was arrested at the scene after he was pointed out to the police. He was taken into custody where he was formally charged. Beef vendors in St. Elizabeth disgruntled. Beef vendors in Santa Cruz, St. Elizabeth say they are running out of stock as their herds have not been tagged to allow for butchering and sale. The Santa Cruz market vendors say they have not been able to replenish their beef stock since there is a shortage of authorized persons tagging cattle and inspecting meat intended for human consumption in the parish. It is illegal to buy, sell, or slaughter cattle that are not affixed with a National Animal Identification and the Traceability System air tags. Air tags allow for individual identification, effective herd management, record keeping, and enhanced traceability. One vendor said Agriculture Minister Floyd Green had promised that the process would be improved with added numbers of people authorized to tag the animals, but the vendor complained that to date it appears that there is still just one person carrying out the job. The vendors argued that the delay could cause an increase in the theft of cattle since many of the animals are not tagged. They say the delays have also resulted in slower sales for other kinds of meat.
We cannot see her. Well, he said Thursday coming, so I work after this at week Friday and Thursday where I come, she might come. But once somebody cannot start going in the market for that. Now in our market, in our system, we send to the cattle. Over 2 months I had now. All last week no beef in our market. 1 or 2 somebody have beef. The butcher them move can't turn up and come in and go look at me to get them customer. This year cost more thief, because you can go thief, you go and go tag it. I take out of here, you know. Because you got birth certificate and everything. You understand? So I'm more thief, this is when I'm more fear, man. Because you got your can't get it out, so the thief got thief, you can't get it out. So I know you come again. Because you can't take it from him and get it again. Because you don't got no birth certificate, you don't have nothing for him.
Guys, thank you for watching. See you this evening at 6 p.m. for another news update.